With the Conjuring House drama coming to a bit of a head and quietly dying down over the past few days, there appears to have been some interest from some people in the paranormal community in buying the Conjuring House, and we're going to be taking a look at that today to see if it is simply strange. So, the people in question who are looking to acquire the ever so haunted paranormal location known as the Conjuring House is none other than Elton Casti and Matt Rife. Now, if you know who Elton is, they were from, Overnight YouTube channel. They were also, they've been in a bit of controversy recently because him and Corey had a bit of a public falling out and there was a lot of stuff going on. And Matt Rife, of course, is a comedian. So I'm not too sure how these guys are going to roll in and kind of get this property or what it would look like on the other side. But there appears to be a bit of a hit and miss response with regards to this. Now, I have reached out to Elton to see if he will talk about what he plans to do with the property moving forward if he was to acquire it. Thus far, I have not heard back from him, but the second I do, I will be sure to let you know. But Elton did put this tweet up yesterday at the time of recording and said, "Hey, at Conjuring House, myself and Matt Rife are ready and willing to buy it if you're keen to sell." Now, of course, this is the first roadblock that I have no doubt that these guys are going to face in trying to acquire the house. Because if we go off of the most recent Facebook ramblings that happened before the Facebook page was actually taken down by Facebook on the Conjuring House from Jacqueline Nunes, Jacqueline Nunes was talking about how she was planning, how apparently she was put in position to acquire the Conjuring House to talk about this great disclosure and to kind of get this great disclosure out to the people. And the Conjuring House was going to be the conduit in which she was going to do that. So to me, I don't think that she is in any position to want to sell the Conjuring House whatsoever, regardless of the fact that it is currently in its state at the moment with all the controversy that's gone on, most likely dead weight. I haven't seen or heard of anyone going there recently. I've tried to look at some reviews, and the reviews are mostly just boycott the Conjuring House, not about people actually going there. And the most recent reviews of people who have gone there in the past few weeks are just people stating that they went there and weren't able to get in. One person in particular went all the way from California, which I've been told is actually on the other side of the country. So they travelled the width of the country to go and visit the Conjuring House, to go and investigate there for one night after paying the ridiculous sum of money to get in for the night. And then they were told that they would not be allowed in, and because apparently Jacqueline Nunes does not have a refund policy, she won't be allowed, or they won't be getting any money back, nor will they be able to reschedule. Utterly crazy. So if I'm perfectly honest, right now, I don't think that the Conjuring House will be sold. I don't think Jacqueline Nunes is in any position to want to sell it. I think in her mind, she's got this Conjuring House in her midst to try and do this Illuminati great disclosure thing that she's got going on. But the next part of this tweet from Elton is probably the most intriguing part, and he goes on to state, "We'll pay the money owed to employees, loss of goods or anything else to take care of them as well," which is utterly fantastic if this is possible, because obviously Brian Dancerose owed $9,000 not even compensation, just pay. So he's going through a litigation law firm to try and get that sorted and through the doors. Obviously, Cody and Satori are owed a lot of money for their property that was burnt down in the barn fire late last year, in which Jacqueline Nunes did promise to pay that back, but never did. There are other employees who have also gone without pay. Does that mean that Jacqueline Nunes will be off the hook entirely and she won't be in any legal trouble whatsoever? No, because there is still the legal issues with Jason Hawes, with accusing him of being an assassin and trying to assassinate her, which is utterly ridiculous. I think Brian Dancerose, just for the sake of trying to get his money back because ultimately it's not Elton who owes Brian that money, it's Jacqueline Nunes. And Jacqueline might be like, clean slate, job done, see you later. But ultimately, I wouldn't be surprised if Brian just wanted to get the money from Jacqueline personally, because it's quite personal, this one. But ultimately, that is a very goodwill gesture. And then any day, we're ready to make it happen. And then obviously tagging in Matt Rife. And Matt Rife has responded to this, retweeting it, saying official offer, making it utterly official, making it known that these people are very interested in taking on the property. Now, at the time, obviously, the Facebook page is still missing. Like I say, I don't know of anyone that's actually going to the Conjuring House. And I don't know of anyone that wants to go to the Conjuring House, leaving this place in utter disarray. And if I'm perfectly honest, right now, it's the Conjuring House which is in disarray. Not Jacqueline Nunes, although like people that are intrigued in the situation will know of Jacqueline Nunes and will know that Jacqueline Nunes is the reason for this huge decline in the Conjuring House. But for the average person who's not following the drama, you know, quite in depth like we are, they might not know who Jacqueline Nunes is, full stop. Which might mean that the Conjuring House name is utterly tarnished. So, here's my thoughts on it. Do I think that Elton Casti should take over the Conjuring? At this point, I think anybody should take over the Conjuring House. This is an utter shit show. And it's an utter mess. The whole situation is a total... It's just that the house, the legacy, the everything else to do with that house, in utter disarray. And that house is probably... You know, because of the movie, it was probably one of the top 10 locations to go to for paranormal enthusiasts. Now, I barely even think it scratches top 20. Just because nobody wants to go there, because I don't think anyone will feel safe. Do I think Elton, though, will do a good job? That's the question. Ultimately, from what I've heard about Elton, with how he's managed Overnight, TFIL, Haunted Homies, all the rest of it, I think he would be a good person to take over the Conjuring House. And this is just, so far, just about Elton. I think he would be good to manage it. And I think if he made some significant changes, I think he could really get that house and that property and that business, because you're not going to invest whatever the asking price is, because it's going to be in the millions, to take on that house without having a business plan going in. What I would hate to see, ultimately, Elton is a businessman, but he's also a content creator. And what I would hate to see is what, like, My Haunted Hotel are doing. Not that there's anything wrong with what they do, because that's their business model. But would this just become a content house? Would this just be, they take it over, they throw cameras in there, and it just becomes this, you know, bigged up kind of property for content and views and monetization? If that's what they want to do with the place, absolutely fine. Would that bin off the potential of investigations? I highly doubt it, because that would be a lot of money that they could generate from that. Do I think that Elton would do that? I don't know. Do I think that that would be good for the house? I don't think so. I think right now that the company or the business model as it is good. With obviously the if you get rid of how, you know, Corey and Jen had it before Jacqueline Nunes had it, was perfect. The pricing wasn't too ridiculous. You know, it was a fair place to go. It was a fun place to go. People could go and experience it for themselves, and that was what the hype was. I would hate to see it become a strict content house. Now, when or if, it's a very big if at this point, if Elton was to take over, I think he could do a fantastic job. If a lot of things are changed. First of all, the pricing would need to change, because $1,500 for a group of people to go and investigate is extortionate. Not a lot of people have got that kind of money. So that would obviously need to change, in my opinion. This is kind of the things that I would change if I was to take it over, and I would hope to see Elton change if he was to take it over. Obviously, you know, everyone's going to want to film with Elton. He's a huge figure in the paranormal world. So, you know, maybe that could be a USP, is he goes and investigates with specific groups on like certain nights or something. I don't know. I think that if he was to obviously lower that asking price to get in, fantastic. And then there's the whole thing about content creators having to pay extra. Now, the way that I view it is content creators are free advertisement. Not free because they're paying to... In fact, they're paying to come and advertise your place. There's no problem with charging people, but I would say I wouldn't charge content creators more because they're going to be earning off of your property. I think that's fair game. If they make the good videos and they can, you know, make fantastic content and they get all the views that they deserve. But then it's, if they got 100,000 views, that's 100,000 people seeing your property. So therefore it's free advertisement to 100,000 further people. So it shouldn't be, you know, restricted behind a paywall, first of all. But then secondly, this barrier that Jacqueline Nunes has put in where content creators have to submit their piece of work, their video, before publishing for approval. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, content creators go and record for a night, let's say, and they've paid the premium to go and record for the night, fantastic. And that's a maximum of 2 channels allowed to record, by the way. Get rid of that restriction as well. And then you create your video, you submit it to Jacqueline Nunes for approval. She can either say, yes, that video is allowed to go out, or no, that video is not allowed to see the light of day. And this is all on a paid contract, by the way. A signed contract, sorry. So you are legally not allowed to put that video out. And if she says no, you've lost all that money, you've got no way of recouping that money, and you've lost time and effort editing that video. So therefore it's a waste. I say get rid of that. Because all that does is that puts this shield of doubt around the Conjuring House that anything negative, let's say a content creator goes in, nothing happens. Then they say, oh, I went to the Conjuring House, nothing happened. And Jacqueline Nunes is like, oh, you can't put that out because it doesn't look like my place is haunted. And then the content creator's like, well, I'm just being honest. And she's like, tough. That's on you. I think that needs to be removed because transparency is exactly what this kind of house needs. Especially in such a dire situation to begin with. Like, these guys are going to have to come in, change a hell of a lot. Obviously, they're going to take a financial hit to buy the property. To recoup those losses, they probably want to charge more. But if they just lower the prices, get more people through the doors, make sure that those events go ahead, and they can make it as an authentic experience as possible, you will get all sorts of content creators go in there. Elton has, I have no doubt, has connections all over YouTube, right? He could probably hit up Sam and Colby to go back and then make another video. He can probably hit up the Paranormal Files to go and make a video. He can probably hit up Twin Paranormal to go and make a video. And all of these people that can then show their video to millions of people, and then millions of people are like, the Conjuring House is back, baby. And then the final thing that I would possibly change is the name The Conjuring House. Now that one I know is quite, you know, that's quite a tall ask, right? Because The Conjuring House is what it's always been. Everybody knows it as The Conjuring House because of the movie The Conjuring. But I think that name has now been tarnished. And if that name hadn't, if everything that hadn't gone on over the past few weeks with the drama, keep the name, for sure. It's a USP. But because of the drama, if anyone thinks of The Conjuring House now, they think of everything negative that's gone on thus far. And it's going to take a very long time to get that name untarnished. Even if new management. Because like I said before, people who are just casual viewers of this drama don't know about the ins and outs. They just see The Conjuring House and they see it as a negative thing right now. Boycott The Conjuring House. The Conjuring House Drama. Conjuring House Chaos. All the rest of it. All of these other buzzwords that have been going around with The Conjuring House. If you change it to the old Arnold Estate or the Arnold Estate, or, you know, because that's what it was. It was built by the Arnolds back in the 1800s. Or you change it to, I don't know, something like that. I think you would have far more success with a bit more of a rebrand than The Conjuring House. Just my opinion. But there's my little ramble about it, what I think about Elton potentially taking over at The Conjuring House and Matt Rife. I don't know how Matt Rife is going to play into this, if I'm honest. I just kind of feel like Matt's the guy with the money. And if I'm honest, I can see the day-to-day stuff and the paranormal stuff being run by Elton, but yeah, I don't see how a comedian and stand-up personality can play into it. But again, Matt Rife's going to have connections, probably to some huge like A-list names. in the Paramount. You could even get Zach Baggins in there. Yeah, he's not got a great image, but people love him still. People follow him, die by his every word. So just chuck him in there for a night and just get him to big it up, and then you'll be fine. Let me know what you guys think, though, down in the comments below. While you're down there, be sure to jump to get the hell out of that like button. What do you think about this? Should Elton take over the Conjuring House, or do you think someone else should? Let me know what you think about all of that down below. While you're down there, be sure to jump to get the hell out of that like button. And until next time, I'll speak to you later. Peace.